Throwaway. My 23M wife, 31F, is mentally unstable. Her personality flipped when we got married. She can be very violent. Tonight we got in an argument. She started throwing things at me, then she started hitting me, so I punched her in the face. She told me she's going to call the police and locked herself in our guest room. I don't know if she actually called the police, but I'm sitting here waiting. I'm definitely going to be the one that goes to jail. I've never hit a woman before. I've never felt so low. Edit. Wow, I wasn't expecting a lot of responses on this. Just got out of jail and will update later. Update 1. I know a lot of people commented wanting to know what I ended up doing after hitting my wife. I wish I could have responded, but I didn't have my phone. Honestly, I'm surprised at how many people saw my post and commented. To answer some questions, because people believe I was groomed as my wife is older. We met when I was 19 and she was 27. She was the nicest and most amazing woman I had ever met. I fell for her immediately. She really had her shit together. She had a master's degree and was very successful in her field of work as an independent small business owner. She was married and divorced once before meeting me. Red flag in hindsight. We eloped 4 months ago. The house is leased, only my name is on the lease as my wife moved out of her apartment when we got married. After we got married is when she started lashing out and hitting me occasionally. And no, I didn't just punch her in the face because I was mad. She threw a glass at me, it hit me in the head, it didn't shatter on my head, I fell to the ground and she got on top of me. I was trying to block her hits and reacted by punching her. Then she acted like the victim by crying and saying she was calling the police and she wasn't safe around me, then locked herself in the guest room. However, now I'll tell you what happened after the post. Yes, I ended up going to jail Saturday night. Unfortunate that I got arrested the night before Easter Sunday, because I couldn't see a judge until Monday. I was charged with domestic assault and battery. It is a misdemeanor because it's my first offense, but I could still face a year in jail. My wife didn't call the police immediately. She locked herself in the guest room after it happened. About 20 minutes after the incident is when I posted on Reddit. I honestly thought she was bluffing about calling the police, but about 10 minutes after that there were 2 cops knocking and yelling at my front door. My wife came out of the guest room with a black eye. I immediately knew I was screwed. I was wearing a white t-shirt that had some blood stains on it because my wife had busted my lip. Unfortunately, regardless of me saying I was defending myself against my violent wife, they saw her black eye and the blood on my shirt and I was arrested. As of right now I'm not allowed to be around my wife. I have a public defender as I can't afford my own lawyer. She has left our house so luckily I can stay there. I have no idea where she went. She took my dog though, she didn't even want the fucking thing. I am calling a divorce lawyer and will be filing as soon as possible. I'm going to try and get the charge dropped as well. My attorney is pretty confident that it will go nowhere as I have a clean record and my wife has domestic charges on her record. I knew about this, but I was stupid and believed her when she said her husband hit her all the time. Now look at me, and I'm claiming self-defense. I was also fired from my job too because I was in jail on Monday. And as of right now I probably won't be getting another because there's no way I can pass a background check with an ongoing legal problem. I am going to be setting cameras up all around my house in case my wife decides to show up. I still have her number in my phone, unblocked, but will not be reaching out or responding if she reaches out to me. Essentially, my life is ruined. My wife is a horrible human being. And I could face jail time or homelessness. I don't speak to my family as they don't like my wife, and this is something that I don't think I can tell them about because they warned me that she was trouble. Edit. Thank you for the advice guys. I called my parents and told them I'm coming over tonight. They don't know what happened yet, but I'm gonna talk to them. Edit 2. I spoke to my parents tonight. I hadn't spoken to them since I got married to my wife, which was 4 months ago. They were not at all supportive of the decision as well as me dating her. At the time I didn't know why, obviously I know now they were right. They honestly were happy to see me when I showed up. They thought I was bringing my wife over, so I'm sure they were even happier to see that I came alone. I told them everything and I'm not gonna lie, it was really emotional. My parents were more than understanding. They're paying for a lawyer not only to fight my charges but for the divorce as well. My mom is walking me through how to press charges against her for the abuse as well as for stealing my dog. They said I could stay at the house with them if I felt safer there, but I declined. I thought they'd be all I told you so, but it wasn't like that at all. I also filed for divorce. She should be served at her office sometime soon. Update 2. Hey everyone, I wasn't going to update because for me this issue is over. But I have a lot of messages and understand that many people are curious as to how things are going after that initial night with me getting arrested. The charges were tossed, my wife admitted that she exaggerated everything and told police and my attorney that I was not abusive and said she would appreciate if the charges weren't pursued any further. That was good enough because I'm no longer facing a misdemeanor. Shortly after that she came to the house, which now has cameras, with a bunch of my favorite snacks and drinks as well as a long apology note. She was in tears saying she didn't mean to ruin my life and she was so sorry, and that night she was seeing red and barely remembers anything. When she showed up I didn't say anything. I also didn't accept her apology gift or letter. All I asked was where my dog was. She tried to act confused and said she didn't have him. I know my wife, her face gets red when she lies. I told her if she doesn't return my dog I'm pressing charges as well as getting a restraining order and filing for divorce. She broke down and told me that she did take him, and had no intention to harm him, but he did run away when she left a door open. She said she looked for him and couldn't find him. He isn't chipped. He's gone, we aren't going to find him. I'm torn up over it. I told her to leave my property. A few days later she was served divorce papers. Again, shows up at my house crying saying she's sorry for everything. She loves me, she wants to save our marriage. She said I can't throw away what we have over an animal. While my dog is a huge reason why I'm going through with this, I got pissed and said she's abusive, she's manipulative, and she needs therapy and medical help for her problems. It's way more than my dog. I told her she is lucky I haven't pressed charges and have only filed for divorce. Well, she hit me again. This time on camera. I called the police. When the police showed up she was in hysterics and tried to turn it on me saying that she hit me in self-defense and that we're going through a divorce and I wouldn't let her leave. She didn't know I had cameras. She was arrested, I was granted a restraining order, we are getting divorced. I've gone to every animal shelter close by, my dog is nowhere to be found. It's been a few weeks. I'm assuming the worst. My wife's ex-husband reached out to me. He's still friends with a few of my wife's friends and they filled him in on the situation. He told me that she did something similar to him, but he let it continue for longer than he should have because she is really manipulative and would cry and apologize and seem genuinely remorseful and willing to take the steps necessary to change. He told me not to look back or fall for any of it. But yeah, as happy as I am that my legal issues are over and I'm getting out of an abusive marriage, to me it's not a happy ending because I lost my best friend since I was 16. I let him down, I put my dog in a situation where he was unsafe. I miss him so much. Thank you everyone for the kind messages and comments, you really have helped me through this. At my lowest, my wife refused to help me. Now that I'm up, I'm going to divorce her. I, 30M, am divorcing my wife, 30F, of 4 years because she did not help me financially when I needed it. I work in a very niche industry and last year or so has been really difficult due to market conditions. Many of my colleagues got laid off and so was I. At the time, I had newly refurnished our home so I was in debt. My wife also works but she earned less than me back then. I went to her and asked if she can help me while I search for work. I proposed that we should sell some of the gold that was given to us at the wedding. We live in Turkey and there is a tradition of giving gold to newlyweds to help them financially. These are meant to be used during difficult times. She rejected the idea and said I do not want to sell my golds. I tried to reason with her by saying closing the debt would greatly help us to have a more stable financials. She refused and told me to sort it out myself somehow. I asked her to at least use some of her savings and I can pay it back. Context here is that I let her save most of her earnings while paying most of the things myself due to women being vulnerable to financial changes more than men here. I wanted her to build her own savings and made sure to help her with the retirement account as well. I asked her to give me some of her savings for debt and I can pay her back once I sort myself out. She refused that, too. This period had been extremely difficult for me. I fell into depression and contemplated my choices in life. Funny thing is everything was going great before this and I thought we would stay together through thick and thin. My older sister helped me to pay the monthly installments during that time, God bless her soul. At the beginning of this year, I found a great job in the same industry and am thrilling right now. I could not look at my wife in the same way after what happened and started divorce talks with a lawyer friend of mine. Last month, I let her know my decision and she was served with divorce papers soon after. For her, apparently it was an unexpected thing and she was shocked. She tried to talk me out of it but I was firm in my decision. Families tend to be involved with each other here and that was the case for us too. She put families in between as meditators but I do not want to be married to someone who will not help me during difficult times, especially when I was considering their financial well-being. Most of my family supports my decision though they would like me to reconsider it if possible. I know every other thing is without a problem but I cannot get over what happened. Ada here?